And what you don't realize, or at least I didn't realize then, but now I know now, is that when you begin to feel better, or these areas of your life that get affected and are negative, it would sprinkle into other areas of my life because I didn't feel good. So I didn't go out a lot. I stayed home a lot. So what did I do? Ate a lot more. Stress eating, which is another thing that is a problem of weight gain, where we find we are anxious about how we look, how we think other people think about us. I mean, it sort of just takes you into this negative cycle where you are now, because you're already in that type of mindset, it takes you down in a worse place. You're thinking one of the worst things about yourself. You're thinking badly about yourself. Your actions become terrible actions towards yourself. And that becomes the lifestyle you're living because it has now become a habit.
Hi, I'm your host, Roseanne Kamal, a certified nutrition coach with a background in psychology. Here on Hey Sugar Podcast, you will learn how to live a healthy and sustainable lifestyle without dieting. I'll be teaching you practical tips that you can incorporate in your unique lifestyle. I am going to help you break any dieting mindset traps and show you that a healthy and sustainable lifestyle is doable. So if you're ready to change your life for good and create a healthy and sustainable lifestyle for yourself, then this is for you. Let's go.
Now, today's episode is going to be a great episode. And I say it's great because this is going to be your big sister talking to you. And your big sister is saying, girl, I need you to stop gaining that weight. Stop gaining that weight. Why is this important? Now, I'm going to make the case today why I want you to begin to focus on your body. I know you're busy. I know you got competing priorities. I know you got work. You probably even are taking care of your aging parents. You probably have kids. And there's probably a sense of overwhelm as to what's happening around you. And so what I want you to do is I want you to pause and really begin to think about yourself today for a minute. I want you to be selfless today. I know a lot of people saying taking care of yourself is selfish. There's nothing selfish about taking care of yourself because the more you take care of yourself, the more you're going to be able to show up for other people. And so I am telling you, as your big sister, as your coach, I don't want you to gain weight. And I'll share with you a couple of problems as to why gaining weight is problematic, why you do not want to go down that path, because I will tell you, it takes a lot of energy to get back to that place where you know you want to be. It did that for me many years ago. It took a lot of energy to get back in and to start losing that weight. I want you to imagine a boulder. I want you to imagine a mountain, okay? Like there's a hill and a mountain. And I want you to imagine yourself pushing that boulder up that hill. As you're pushing that boulder up that hill, you know the hardest part is the beginning. The beginning part is always the hardest because it's going to require a lot of energy for you to get that boulder up into this mountain or this hill that you're going through. And the mountain really is an analogy of life because all we're doing in life is we're climbing up this mountain. And so when you think about life and all that comes with life, then we have the added on weight gain that now we're struggling with. It becomes even that much more harder. So today, I'm going to be talking about why you want to stop gaining that weight, why you want to focus on yourself, why this is going to be critical for you. And I'm going to be giving you practical solutions that you can begin to apply that are going to help you along that journey. First and foremost, I want you to think about your health, and I want you to think about the risks that are associated with health. This is actually what got me to do what I do today. My diagnosis of high cholesterol when I was 29 years old. This was my wake-up call. And so I'm always leading from a health perspective. And so I want you to think about other health conditions that come as a result of weight gain. Think about things like diabetes, type 2 diabetes caused by lifestyle. Think about heart disease. Think about strokes, high blood pressure, some lifestyle cancers. So health is always going to be one of the things you will hear me talk about on a regular basis because it's really important that we are leading from a place of health. And these conditions, you know what's beautiful about them? Because they're brought on by lifestyle, guess what can reduce them? Lifestyle. So I'll be giving you those lifestyle solutions, but that's one of the problems. The second thing, I want you to think about your energy levels. When you are carrying excess weight, How many of you feel tired? You feel fatigued. You feel like you don't have the energy to be able to do what needs to get done. You have no energy to play with your kids. You have no energy to hang out with your husband. You have no energy to even mingle and socialize with people, just because of the way your body just feels weighted down. So when you are thinking about weight gain and when you're gaining weight, these are the things and the areas that are going to be affected. And you will literally notice them on a day-to-day basis. I want you to think, like, for me, climbing up those stairs, I would climb up 10 steps in our house. I would stop at the first landing page and I would just ask landing step. I would stop there and I'd be taking and catching a breath because I'm already exhausted. I would wake up in the morning tired because I'm exhausted and I just came from sleeping, but it's because I'm carrying all this excess weight. I wouldn't even be able to walk long distances because I was exhausted and tired, sitting down all the time, mood, energy. So all these things are things that I really want you to start thinking about. Decreased mobility. All that means is now your joints are being affected. You're not as active anymore. You're not as flexible anymore. You're not the person that knows you used to do those things. You know how you look back, you're like, gosh, when I was younger, I could run up the stairs or I could do cartwheels or I was just so flexible. And now it's like when you're moving your legs, it's man. It feels like you're carrying logs. By the way, this was my story. So I'm not telling you something that that's foreign. But I also want to be able to show you on the other side what can be there. These are the things that you're going to be affected. You're going to notice knee aches, joint aches, your ankles hurting, your joints aching. So these are things that are going to affect you. Next thing, a problem of gaining weight is your self-esteem. It just becomes affected. This affected me so much. I used to tell my husband, let's turn those lights off. Lights off because confidence was in the toilets, y'all. And so these are some of the things that would affect you. So for me, when I think about confidence and I think about weight gain, I think about I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I looked in my dresses. I used to hide me in bigger clothes. My self-esteem was in the toilet. I just didn't feel good. And what you don't realize, or at least I didn't realize then, but now I know now, is that when you begin to feel better, or these areas of your life that get affected and are negative, it would sprinkle into other areas of my life because I didn't feel good. So I didn't go out a lot. I stayed home a lot. So what did I do? Ate a lot more. Stress eating, which is another thing that is a problem of weight gain, where we find we are anxious about how we look, how we think other people think about us. I mean, it sort of just takes you into this negative cycle where you are now, because you're already in that type of mindset, it takes you down in a worse place. You're thinking one of the worst things about yourself. You're thinking badly about yourself. Your actions become terrible actions towards yourself. And that becomes the lifestyle you're living because it has now become a habit. So you notice that you're stress eating. You notice that you're creating a cycle of emotional eating. That's what I used to do, eating a lot of cookies, a lot of mandazis. That used to be the cycle. I feel bad about it. Then I just restart and re-eat them. So these are things that are going to affect you when you gain weight. Sleep. This one especially, a lot of my clients struggle with. And it's one of the things a lot of women will say, man, I just notice I go to bed and I wake up tired. I'm not able to sleep well. There's also clients who have something known as sleep apnea. This is where you actually stop breathing when it's at night. So you're sleeping, but because of excessive weight gain, you notice that you actually stop breathing for a couple of seconds. And some people have to wear what's known as a CPAP machine, which this CPAP machine helps you with your breathing. And so what happens when you're not sleeping enough? Guess what's going to happen the next morning when you wake up? When you're supposed to be resting at night, you're exhausted, you're feeling tired. And so these are the things that I want you to begin to notice. Then there's a level of difficulty now in managing this weight. At some point, because by the way, do you know weight gain, when it happens, it always happens very gradually. It's never an overnight thing. And that's why weight loss should never also be an overnight thing. And what happens when it becomes unchecked, it leads to significantly more health issues. It makes it harder for you to manage your weight long term. Think about the diets that a lot of people have been on. This is having difficulty to managing their weight because they still haven't understood the right ways to manage their weight. So if you find yourself on that path of gaining weight, if you do not find a way to lose it sustainably, these are some of the things that you could struggle with. And I don't want you struggling with these things. Think about the social impact and the professional impact. Studies do show that a lot of people, some people actually who get promotions, imagine, unfortunately, but it's what studies show. I'm just being the messenger. If you have actually gained more weight, those people don't get as many promotions for whatever reason. And so there's a professional impact. You may not know it, but these are the small psychology. I always like to look at the psychology and understand the psychology around human behavior. And so if there's a study that shows me that there are human beings who are not, the people who get more promotions are leaner than the people who are more overweight, then it tells me psychologically, as human beings, we judge people. We look at people a certain way. And because we make a judgment, we put that judgment even in our professional or in their professional area. And so maybe someone might say, I'm not going to give them a promotion because what? Because what? So really think about that. So it's not just about a look, health, psychologically, what are these things that are going to impact you? And then I also want you to think about the health costs. Think about how much it's going to cost you to take care of your body when you're healthy, when you're unhealthy. Think about what happens. I know we talked about this. I want to loop it back to the beginning, the health conditions. Have you considered the health that is going to be associated, the amount of money and the amount of increased cost that is associated with you gaining weight, with you being sick, with you buying more clothes, with you buying bigger clothes? Like, really consider all these things. They are going to touch these different areas of your life. And so since we have all these things, what are some of the solutions? What are the things we need to focus on that are going to help you? So I got 10 practical solutions for you that are going to help you. And I don't want you to just listen to this. And for those of you who are watching, I don't want you to just see this and say, okay, that was great and learn something. Truly, I want you to be able to apply this and take action. One of the things that I love about the women that I work with, the women who follow me, we are action takers. We hear and we do. It's you hear and you take action. Become doers, not just hearers. Become doer of what we're saying. So the first thing, I want you to plan, and prepare. As a busy woman, remember you have competing priorities. The first thing I want you to do is, can you spend a few hours every week planning your meals plans, planning what you're going to cook, making sure you've gone shopping, making sure you have done what needs to get done. Have you delegated this to someone if you do not have time? So that's the first thing I want you to do, which is to prepare your meals, plan your meals, spend time every week. I'll tell you, we've done this for years. Now my girls are the ones who are planning the meals. My girl at home is the one who plans all the meals. They already know what we eat. They understand it's about making sure that we have balanced meals. What is the carbohydrate? What is the protein? What is the fat? So we're making sure your meals are planned. But you got to do this consistently. Pick a day of the week. It could be a Friday. It could be a Saturday. It could be a Monday. We do shoppings every Monday. That's when we do it. So pick that day that's going to work for you and do that. Second thing, I want you to incorporate physical activities into your daily routines. Yeah. Simple steps, but I'm telling you, these add up. Take the stairs more. Park your car a little bit further. If you can take a bike, take a bike. If you can take your kids to a park, take them to the park. If you can go for a walk with your spouse, with your girlfriends, go for a walk. If you can look for simple ways to do at-home workouts, do that. The key is to find ways to integrate movement into your busy lifestyle. You gotta look for ways, and it's not hard. If you're in your office, you work on the 10th floor, you can say, you know what, for me, I'll be carrying sneakers and I'm gonna be climbing to the 10th floor and walking down the stairs. And that can be it. If you're moving from elevator and you're doing that, imagine just do that for a couple of months. You will notice even your energy just becoming better. It's about making these small changes that are going to help you. The third thing, I want you to consider incorporating more healthier snacks as part of your lifestyle. Now, If it's a snack, but for me, it's a meal, right? So if you're going to be having these tiny, tiny little meals, because some people graze throughout the day, grazing just means you're eating throughout the day. Maybe plan specific times and or meals that you're going to be eating. And so you might want to have some fruits next to your desk. You may want to make sure your pantry is packed with nuts. You want to make sure you have like a healthy yogurts. Make sure put like a fruits on your kitchen table where kids are going to be seeing the fruits. That's nature's candy. So make sure you have your healthy foods in eyes view. Even when you pack them in your refrigerator, you want to make sure what you can see is the healthy foods that you're seeing. Because the goal is, how do you create this lifestyle and become sustainable? These small habits are going to help you. Now, when it comes to eating, it's about being aware, being mindful. Just become a mindful eater. Pay attention. When are you hungry? Are you actually hungry? If you're hungry, guess what you should do, girl? Eat. If you're full, guess what you should do? Stop eating. I want you to really go back and think about the way God created our bodies. It's this whole aspect of just being mindful, being aware. Because what this will do is it's going to help you slowly begin to make the right changes. You stop overeating. Because a lot of people also, imagine, when you get too hungry, what do? If you're too hungry, your body is going to crave all the wrong foods, because that time what's happening, your emotional brain kicks in. And when the emotional brain kicks in, it knows what it needs to do, but you don't want to do it because you're too hungry. But if you're now being more mindful, you're paying attention to what your body's signals are giving you, guess what you're going to do? You're now going to eat when you get hungry. You're not going to stop eating when you get satisfied. It's that simple. And once you begin to do this consistently, you now put your body in a rhythm where it now understands, okay, we're hungry, we're eating. We're not hungry, we stop eating. And we are feeding your body with the right foods. Because also, if you want to think about eating, if you're eating mostly like, the chips and the crisps and sugary foods, you'll be forced to eat more of those because they don't have any nutrients in them. And they're really, really high in calories. And these foods are the ones that are going to make you gain weight. I know you already know that, but I need to reemphasize, because it's these little steps that are going to help you. So now what you can do next is you can swap. So you can swap, say, if you eat a lot of crisps or chips, you can swap that with an apple. If you eat, and you know why? There's a crunch in the crisps and there's a crunch in an apple. Are you seeing how we're going to do this? So look for ways to swap things out. Instead of drinking soda and juices, can you drink water? Flavored water, lemon water. These are the things that could help you. Next thing is about hydration. It's so important that you stay hydrated. That means you're drinking water throughout the day. So I have a couple of habits that are going to help you, and I want to share them with you. So one of those things that I do is I put a bottle of water next to my bedside so that I drink that water first thing in the morning. The next thing is, even in the morning, I will drink my lemon water. I have done this for years. So it's warm lemon water, a cup just like this one. I'll drink lemon water in the morning, warm water, citric acid. It helps before I eat. It helps things move every single day. So start with your lemon water. Every day, throughout the day, you're drinking your water. Hydrate. With your snacks, drink water. With your food, drink water. If you exercise, you're going to even need to drink more water. But it's important that you're drinking water, because sometimes we mistake thirst for hunger. And so if you find yourself thirsty, if you feel like you're hungry, can you just drink a glass of water? If in 15 minutes you don't feel hunger anymore, imagine that was just thirst masking itself as hunger. So make sure you stay hydrated. The next is you got to prioritize your sleep. I will talk about this over and over because I struggle with insomnia. And for a couple of years, lack of sleep is the foundation of your health. And so if you do not have a consistent routine in the evening, I truly want you to begin to establish a consistent routine that you can use on a regular basis. What's the time that you go to bed? What's the time that you wake up? Because quality sleep is going to be crucial for your overall wellness, and it's going to help you manage your weight. So if you find you're one of those people that is constantly on the phone, in bed with your phone, that's affecting your sleep. It's affecting your energy levels, and it's going to affect how you eat the next day. So it's really important that you're sleeping. Seek support is the ninth thing. Seeking a community of people who are on the same level, who are wanting to grow, become better. Accountability is one of those things. I am huge on accountability. I have coaches who I'm accountable to. I have my husband who I'm accountable to. We have couples who we are accountable to, peers and older couples that we are accountable to. Why? Because I recognize this whole aspect of seeking support and staying connected to society and connected with a social network. Because what this does is it provides encouragement and it provides practical tips. And frankly, sometimes it just shows you you're not alone. You're not crazy. You will hear that other people have gone through the same thing that you're going through. Because sometimes when we're in our cocoon and we're all alone, we'll be like, am I the only one going through this? Why does it feel like the world is ending? Sis, no, you're not alone. There's a lot of people. And then the last tip I want to share is about creating a routine. I know I talked about sleep and being very consistent in your sleep, but I really want you to think about having routines that you create. Now, can I be honest? This is one area I really struggled with. This is an area where I really didn't want to create routines, structure. I wanted to be flexible. But later on in life, my husband is a very structured guy. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to figure out how to structure my life, but in a flexible way. And so creating routines has really helped me develop a level of consistency and discipline. And sometimes life will force you to create these things. You know how life will force you? How you're going to know? Like for me, high cholesterol, that was life. That was a huge knock on my life. Like, girl, wake up. That was a huge wake-up call. And you know what I needed to create routines for? I had to plan my meals. I had to sleep. Literally, there are things I'm telling you to do, other things I had to do. Create routines. Exercising. Now I exercise 4 to 5 times a week. That's a routine. Taking time for rest. I like to rest in the evenings. The last couple of weeks, though, I'm recording this. We are shooting in August of 2024. The last couple of months has been a little bit crazy. So that's an area where I know I am now going to focus a lot more because I've just been moving. So it's really helping you think about these long-lasting habit changes that are going to help you. These are things I don't want you to gain weight on. And if you do those things and you purpose to focus on them, they're going to help you. Now, I want us to look at the broader benefits. What are the bigger benefits? Why is this important? One of the things I'm huge on is personal growth. I am huge on embracing this lifestyle because I recognize personally how not only it's helped my life, but I've seen how it's helped. I've pushed that on, not pushed that on, because listen, we're not pushing things onto people. We're not pushing on, but I've influenced my family, my kids, my husband, to just become more aware into what we're putting into our bodies, into how we're treating our bodies. And for me, this has been one way that has really helped my life grow. And seeing that trickle down into my family, my sisters, who are my first clients, by the way. I've seen that trickle down to me. That for me is very fulfilling. And I'm hoping it's going to be fulfilling for you, as it's going to help you as well, because that's going to be fulfilling to me. So please do let me know below in the comments whether that works for you. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed, this will be a great time because you've stayed at me this long. If you haven't subscribed, can we go down and subscribe? Subscribe, girl. Are we together? Are we subscribing? Thank you. Second thing that's going to benefit you, I'm telling you, your relationships are going to improve. When you're healthier, you're more likely to have more energy. Remember what we said earlier. When you have low energy, you find yourself staying at home. You find yourself having a negative outlook on life. But now what happens is a healthier you just feels so much better. You have that pep in your step. You're walking more. You have more energy. You just have this better outlook. I'm telling you, these things do happen. And so what happens is when you show up better, can you imagine the energy you're emitting even to your friends? Can you imagine the energy that you are pushing out? And that's a result of what? What has just happened to you? We're not bragging, by the way. No, we're not doing that because you feel so good. It just spills into these other areas of your life. Being a role model is another thing. This is a broader benefit. Because now I really want you to think about this. Now, in about 2012, 2015, 2018, those years, I was coaching a lot of moms with young girls, with kids. And for that reason, why I mentioned those years, because they stuck with me. I remember the mamas saying how they had noticed their children were now becoming critical about their bodies because they were mimicking what they were hearing from their parents. And so when I was coaching the parents, these mamas were coming to me because they're like, I've also noticed, in as much as I want to become healthy, I'm also noticing my daughter or my child is picking up my bad habits. So when we talk about being a role model, by the way, it's both positive and negative, which means your children pick up, by the way, it's not what we tell them, it's what they see. So they pick those things up. So if you're not demonstrating good habits, if you're being critical about your body, if you're speaking negatively about the body, if you're stepping on the scale and you're screaming, you're hating the relationship you have with your scale, and your children are seeing this, guess what? They will pick up these habits. So role modeling for me was really important because I really wanted to be a good role model to my kids. And so for me, it was about introducing good behaviors, not talking about body, by the way, in front of the children. I really tried to make an effort not to do that, not talking negatively about myself in front of the children. I really tried to do that. I'm sure there's moments where every so often where I'd probably said something and they picked it up. Because, our kids look at us like we are we're their everything. And they're also wanting to protect us. So if you're speaking negatively, you know what happens? They're going to internalize that about themselves as well. So being a role model is also really important for me. So I want you to think about these broader benefits that we're talking about. Productivity is another area of your life. You are going to be so much more productive when you're showing up better, when you're healthier, when you have more energy, when you're thinking much more clearly. In fact, when I coach in offices, like I remember one of the things we did with this a big company here in Kenya, and as I was working with that team, the one thing they said is, we are thinking better. I should have followed up with, and I should have asked them, did the bottom line increase? Like, that's one thing I should have followed up with. But for real, you just notice your brain thinks better, your energy is better. So your productivity just becomes better. Next is your emotional well-being. This is huge. And remember, we just don't talk about the body, but think about your emotional well-being and what happens. Your energy levels are better. You notice that your mood is better. You have no anxiety. There's no depression. Your outlook is so much better. What that is, your emotions. Do you know your behaviors are driven by your emotions? So we must take care of those emotions so that the behaviors that are coming out are not being driven by those negative emotions, but by positive emotions. Then I want you to think about the quality of life now that you're going to be living. I always think back at that young girl, the 29-year-old, who was obese. That was me, medically obese. I always think about her when she was sitting down, having low energy, having no mood. Her quality of life was off, not playing with her kids, not engaging with her kids as much. And I forgave her. I no longer feel bad, but every so often you feel something. But I forgave that girl because I was in that season. Now I know better, I do better. So I want you to imagine how the quality of your life is going to improve as a result of just saying enough is enough. I'm no longer gaining weight. Imagine it will trickle down even to your family. We talked about how my family, my children, my husband, my sisters, and now the larger community is someone like you. Yup, by the way, your family. Okay, if you didn't know, I've already adopted you. In fact, earlier on, I told the guys here, I was like, your family. Okay, folks, you are family. So you who's watching and you who's listening, you're already family. So for me, it's the benefits of families improving, you getting better. I promise it's going to trickle down to all those people. And then personal achievement, just doing that. Like, how good does it feel when you find that you've achieved these things, right? So I have a couple of reflective questions that I want you to think about. Because when you ask yourself the right question, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions that you ask yourself. So, number one, ask yourself this question. What's your current health goal? And what are the realistic ways, given your busy schedule, that you can achieve them? What's realistic right now? I know it's busy, but what can you be able to do right now? That's question number one. Number two, how does your daily routine support or hinder your health or well-being? How does your daily routine support or hinder your well-being? If you're driving, you might want to pause or come back and re-listen to this. In fact, I want you to grab a journal and write this down because these are going to help you. Number three, what small changes can you make in your eating and exercise habits that are going to fit your lifestyle? Number four, how do you manage stress? And are there more effective techniques that you can incorporate? What are those things that you can do? And number five, in what ways can you better prioritize your self-care with all the responsibilities that are out there for you? What are those things that you're going to do? All right, girl, I don't want you gaining any more weight. Please answer those questions. Let me know below what's come up for you. What are the things that you're going to be focusing on? What are the things that you're going to be doing? What steps are you going to take? And remember, we're all about taking action. We're not just about hearing, we're about doing. And as always, remember, you've got one life, you've got one body, and I want you to treasure it.